playing goal. As a matter of fact, he's played pretty well. He's got to have some help clearing the puck out in front of him.
Gary Gregson is the referee tonight. Ryan Bozak and Gord Brossiker, the two linesmen, as Chelios handles the puck in the Montreal defense. Dumped it out to center ice, and Chris King, for the Rangers, gave it to Horschela, then to James Patrick. Plays it on through center into the Montreal zone, and Hayward tries to play it up the left wing board, thus avoiding any icing call. Rangers go to the attack early. It's fed right across in front of the net. Ends up in the center ice area, and here are the Canadiens. Gilchrist dumping one in. Canadiens slowly but surely getting their injured players back into the lineup. Ryan Skrudland comes to mind. There's days away from getting Peter Svoboda back as well. And Pat Burns figures that's when they'll really make their charge. Ludwig handling the puck in the Canadiens' defense. Turned it over at center ice, and a long shot handled by Hayward. He drops it off for Chelios. So Ludwig up the left side, and at center ice, the Canadiens can go no further. This is John Ogrodnik for the Rangers, dumping the puck into the Canadian zone. Chelios back on the play. And it's back in the net. Ryan Mullen into forecheck, knocked it loose, couldn't recover. And here's Chelios, beating it up the right side, too far for Carbonneau. Ryan Leach, last year's Rookie of the Year, has dumped it in for the Rangers, and Chelios tries the left wing. Again, the Canadiens can't get out of the zone. Good forechecking job put up by the New York Rangers here. Finally, Carbonneau brings the puck into the center ice area. Carbonneau over the line with Ryan Walter, and you see Froese handling it in the Ranger goal mouth.
The Rangers a little sloppy start on behalf of Montreal. We're going to pick the offensive rush coming through. Now watch how much of the blue line the Rangers give up. Both defensemen are back well beyond or below the top of the circle. But again, good movement through. Ryan Walter's going to drill a shot towards Bob Froese. But he's just going to catch it at the back of his feet on the way down. One of the alternate captains, the Montreal Canadiens have opted to have two captains, between Guy Carbonneau, who you just see, and Chris Chelios, on a vote by the players that captaincy was established.
You like that idea, having the players select their captain?
I do like that idea. I don't like the split captaincy idea. I think the captain should be that leader that's there for 80 games and establish that role in his lineup.
Well, a couple of teams have gone to that. Winnipeg in particular, I guess, most notable. Now the Canadiens at center ice. Eric Desjardins fires one into the Ranger zone. The young defenseman Bloomberg, called up this week from Flint, gives it to Brian Leach. Leach feeds it up through the center ice area. Off Mark Janssen. Jansen's into forecheck. Now Sandstrom comes in on the other side. Thomas Sandstrom, who struggled of late, is checked by Bobby Smith. Here's Naslund for Montreal to Desjardins. Has Keane with him on the right side. The pass into Keane's skates. He works it across the line. Naslund turns, holds the puck, and then tried to center one that's broken up and cleared out by Janssen. Back on it is Andrew Castles, his second game back for Montreal after suffering a separated shoulder. He played real well his first two games and then got hurt. He was putting up some pretty good numbers in the American Hockey League. Was called up, certainly acquitted himself well. He was a former #1 draft pick. With Castles out there with Corson and Richer. Not a bad line to fly your trade on if you're going to be in a Montreal uniform.
That's for sure. This is the big line here.
Richer holding the puck in on the right wing board. Got it to Chelios, who shot one wide of the net. Renato waited for it, but it never got there. Went over the glass and into the seat. Getting set for a face-off just outside the New York Ranger blue line. Rangers with Millette on the left side, Turcotte in the middle, and Granato over on right wing. That's Turcotte turning the puck over to Richer. He shoots, pad save by Froese. It's loose. Froese can't get to it. Richer trying to center it in front, and it's underneath Bob Froese. Little pushing and shoving after the whistle. The stick's up. You see Richer.
Here we got Brian Leach going to give it to Turcotte. This is very, very bad. You're going away from the play and dump the puck back through the middle inside your own blue line. Boy, oh boy, he's going to want to hope that Roger burns the tape of that one, because but his whole body flow is taking him away from the play. It ends up that they get good quality. Watch now, Turcotte's heading away from the play and gives it into the high percentage shot zone, and Froze makes a good. I think Richer was surprised to get the puck. The play's going to continue around, and Froze is just going to stop the play by sitting on the puck. And the Troy Millette, it looks like they continue to mull around here.
He called a meeting. Everybody attended, and then Granato got upset with one of the proposals that was put on the table. He went at Richer. You see Stefan Richer still talking to referee Terry Gregson, and now the Ranger head coach, 55-year-old Roger Nielsen.
It looks like he's going to give Shane Corson and Tony Granato kind of just to take this chippiness away at the start of the game. Roger Nielsen looking at his troops, giving up a couple of quality chances. I mean, the Rangers early in this game have controlled a little bit of the territorial edge, but Ryan Walter had a good shot off the left side, and Stefan Richer was given a gift from Darren Turcotte. As Troy Millette, the big guy out of Sault Ste. Marie. This is why guys like Eddie Westfall and myself quit playing. Troy Millette's 19 years old. He's 215, 6'3", and skates like the wind.
Now, coincidental penalties. Corson and Granato set off 3 minutes and 19 seconds into the period. You saw Froze cover the puck as Castles came in looking for any chance of a rebound.
It's interesting. You know, the delay of the game has really kind of delayed any sort of start here. It's been a bit of a hesitant start on behalf of both clubs. As we take a look at young Jeff Blomberg, who played his first game of the season last night after being called up. I thought he did a good job against the Islanders.
I did too. He played very well, got a lot of ice time.
Lugged a lot of ice time, moved the puck very well, very heady. I was impressed at how well he lugged the puck and kept his wits about himself in a pretty tense hockey game.
Well, with so many defensemen injured in this Ranger squad, they had to go somewhere. They dropped Lindy Ruffback, used Rudy Poshek sparingly. They just had to bring somebody up after all these man games lost because of injury. There is no score. Chelios for Montreal, feeding the puck to Castles. He has Richer with him on the right side. Castles elects to dump it in, and Froze went back of the net, left it there for Blomberg. Left side to Leach, right back to Blomberg. For those who will tell you, Brian Leach is struggling just now. People expect a lot of points from Leach, and he fed the pass into center ice. Sandstrom cruising in deep on right wing, found an opening, shot one off the pads of Hayward. And out come the Canadiens, Richer at center ice. Blomberg steps in front of him, the pass onto the stick. Holding it down is Castles, put it back in the net. Richer goes in after it, can't get there in time, and the Rangers just clear the zone. That's Ludwig setting up Chelios. Chelios flips the pass to Brian Strudlin, right back to Chelios for the quick shot. Throws the save, and then he covers the puck, and there's no further play.
Thomas Sandstrom again. Coming out of training camp, Kerry Wilson, Thomas Sandstrom, and Ulf Dahlin were a dominant hockey line. Kerry Wilson goes down. Dahlin's not playing in every game. Thomas is a player, can get it done, but he will not be the force he would have been with Wilson as his center iceman.
Does make a difference who you play with, doesn't it?
Sure it does. Particularly so if you're a winger. If you're a center iceman, at least you're able to control the puck because you're in the middle of the ice.
Now Chris King trying to control the puck for the Rangers. Got checked deep in that Montreal zone, and Desjardins moves it out through center ice. Montreal having trouble getting over the blue line. Russ Courtnall has it again. Courtnall here on the right side, dumps it in. Strudlin goes in after it. But the Rangers able to clear the zone. Jocelyn Lemieux is the other member of this forward line for Montreal. The puck comes off the boards right in front of the Ranger goal, and it's James Patrick moving it to center ice. We've played 5.5 minutes of the opening period. There is no score at Madison Square Garden. Long shot from Carbonneau. Blocked by Froze, and he set it up for Horseva. Around to the right side. Trying to move it out was Brian Mullen. He gets checked in his own zone. Blomberg there as well, and the puck loose behind the Ranger goal. Blomberg got knocked down. There's going to be a penalty against the Canadiens. They control the puck now in the center ice area as Lume went back for it. Indication is a high stick, and the first power play of the night will go to the New York Rangers. The penalty to Montreal is Todd Ewan for high sticking at 5:44. Ewan, acquired this week from the St. Louis Blues, sets up a Ranger power play that has been non-productive over the last few weeks. In fact, 1 power play goal on 31 opportunities, 22 straight without a power play goal, and not many shots created with the man advantage recently. James Patrick dumping it in from center ice. Ryan Hayward steers it back to the net. And Ludwig moves it over to the left wing board. Coming out to center ice with it for Montreal is Ryan Walter. Walter and Carbonneau up front. Now they're replaced. Rangers have Ogrodnik hanging down at the Montreal blue line. They give the puck to Kissio. Now to Ogrodnik on the left side. Back to the blue line for Leach. Leach and Patrick playing the points. That's Patrick with a shot. Skate save by Hayward. And the rebound was there, but Ogrodnik couldn't get to it, and now it's knocked away from him and over the glass.
For this Ranger power play to be successful, they have to gain the neutral zone. As we take a look at James Patrick, coming back here, they have gained the neutral zone and are allowed to set up. This gives their skilled players an opportunity to move the puck around to create that opportunity. This is not a power play or a team that's going to create offensive chances off a dump and bump system. They have to get the blue line and set up. Brian Hayward manning the pipes here this evening for Montreal. But again, also the Ranger power play, if you get that puck to Patrick at the top, he's more the guy that's got to get it to the shooter, a shooter being Sandstrom or Grodnik. The Rangers do not have that gun from the point that you get in a Chelios or a McInnes or a Bork or a Coffey. So consequently, Patrick must find either Sandstrom or a Grodnik to fire the puck to the net.
They had only 1 shot on 7 power play chances against St. Louis in this building on Wednesday night. Last night they had a 2-man advantage for 1 minute and 25 seconds against the Islanders and managed 1 shot on goal. And they get nothing set up here. 1 minute gone in the penalty time against Ewan. Turcotte gave it to Leach. Right back to Darren Turcotte, who's over the line on right wing. A look toward Granato. Centered one that's broken up by Chelios. And Chelios has trouble handling it. The Rangers hold it in. Patrick gives it to Brian Leach for a shot. Right on. Hayward the save, and it's cleared out of there by Craig Ludwig. Well, there is a shot with the man advantage, and now 37 seconds left in the penalty to Ewan.
It'll be interesting to see also how many second and third chances the Canadiens give up in front of their net. I would bet there won't be very many.
Not likely. Montreal has always prided itself in their defensive hockey, and right now Ludwig with the puck. Feeds it to Guy Carbonneau at center ice. Carbonneau is over the Ranger blue line, trying to cut in on Leach. Left the puck. Nice pass. Good shot. Ryan Walter testing Bob Froese with that drive. 10 seconds to go in the Ranger power play. Sandstrom taking the puck is checked right at the Canadiens blue line, then Carbonneau couldn't hold it. Chelios gets a piece of Sandstrom, knocking him down, and the teams are at 6 aside again. So 1 shot with the man advantage, all the Rangers able to muster. Horsheva with a pass that was behind Kissio. Now he gives it to Jansen. Jansen moves in all alone. All 5 Canadians back there. And it's Chelios bringing the puck into the center ice area. Trying to feed right wing, nothing doing. Horsheva forces the Canadians to chase it. We have just under 12 minutes to play in a scoreless first period. Montreal in the dark uniforms can't clear the zone. Here's Horsheva with a drive, blocked in front. Hayward steered it toward the corner after making the save, and the Canadiens failed to clear it out. Another long shot. This one by Chris King went wide of the net. Bloomberg plays it back to the goal. In after it is Eriksson for the Rangers to Jansen's at the short side. Nothing doing there. Finally, the Canadiens dump it out of the zone. Backcourt is Horsheva to Jansen's. Forces the Montreal Canadiens to go back. Lume has it back of the net. Lume, the young defenseman, to Carbonneau. Then Lume got knocked down back of the play. He and Chris King pawing at one another. Patrick has to wait for his teammate to get back on side. He gave it to Miller. Kevin Miller over the line with a shot. Blocked by Hayward. Kevin Miller and Paul Broughton added to the Ranger lineup tonight. Up from Flint to the International League. Both of them played Friday night, Saturday night, and now in the big leagues for Sunday night. Bobby Smith chasing a loose puck behind the Montreal goal. Broughton held it in. Familiar name. The Broughton family, Aaron, Neil, and now Paul playing for the Rangers here tonight. John Ogrodnik handling the puck. The pass back to the blue line, held in by Lindy Ruff. His long shot is wide of Hayward. And there's Naslund starting out for Montreal. 3-on-2 at center ice as Naslund cuts to the right, and Bobby Smith put the play offside. Just pulled his right skate up And in go the Canadiens, only to get the whistle. There is still no score as we pause now for a regional break.
Roger Nielsen, he's got his work cut out for him now. His club's struggling a little bit this part of the season, and but he has lent an air of stability to a franchise that desperately needed it.
He and general manager Neil Smith, in a long meeting after the game with the Islanders last night, decided that they didn't want the same lineup on the ice tonight. So for that reason, they have called up, as we mentioned, Kevin Miller and Paul Broughton. Richer centering the puck in the New York Rangers zone all the way back to his own blue line, where it's picked up by Chelios. Chris Chelios, long pass to the left wing boards. And immediately, Bloomberg broke up the play, sent his man over the line, and Granado shot one wide of the net. Bounces back into the center ice zone. That's Brian Leach, forcing the Canadiens to chase it. Immediately, Chelios runs into a check. Rangers flood this near side of the ice. They have all three forwards over here. Millette out there along with Turcotte and Granado. This is Chelios handling the puck. Gets it right back again. Comes to the center ice right, faked his shot. He came to the blue line, was well covered, and elected to dump it in. Brian Leach feeds it over to the right side. That's Jeff Bloomberg. Bloomberg out of Listowel, Ontario. Rangers nearly turning it over right to the stick of Richer. Now he puts it in front off Bob Froese. Strudlin takes the man, and the puck held in at the point. Trying to work it in around the boards to Corson. That's broken up. The Canadiens will have to change it. 9 minutes to go in the opening period. I'm Jiggs McDonald along with Dave Maloney here at Madison Square Garden this Sunday night. Eric Desjardins from Montreal moved it up the right side to Courtnall. He's over the line with a sharp angle shot that's blocked by Froese. Now Grodnick moves the puck into center ice. It rolled off Kissio's stick. The Ranger captain unable to get over the line. Mullen dumps it in, and the Canadiens will bring it right back again, only to have the play broken up at center ice. So Grodnick chases a loose puck. Donald Grodnick gets tangled up in the far corner along with Eric Desjardins, the young Montreal defenseman. There's a penalty coming back to the play against the Rangers. Referee Terry Gregson with his arm up in the air indicating a cross-check penalty. And that will give Montreal their first power play chance. The penalty, as you see, on number 19 of the Rangers. That's Brian Mullen. 2 minutes for cross-checking at the 11:43 mark.
We're going to see him cross-check right here. The young Matthew Snyder, the young Montreal defenseman out of Woonsocket, Rhode Island. You'd think that he was from somewhere in Quebec with a name like Matthew. But in the meantime, just called up, filling the role. Was called up early in December after spending 28, 30 games down in Sherbrooke. But in the meantime, now the Rangers will attempt to kill a penalty here. And you talk about a power play that's struggling. This Montreal team is certainly struggling.
Yeah, they're the
power play.
21st ranking in the 21-team league, only a 12.7% efficiency. Have scored only 18 power play goals. Hard to believe.
Well, when you think also the firebrand Canadian hockey history, I'll bet there are a few of them turning over when they see that statistic.
I realize we're not to the halfway point of the season yet, but this power play with only 18 goals. You think that last season Naslund had 14 on the power play, Richer had 11, Corson had 10. They're just not scoring with the man advantage. Bobby Smith holds the puck at the Montreal line, gave it to Desjardins for the drive, blocked at the defense. Lindy Ruff stood there and let it hit him. This is Naslund trying to center it from back of the net. Canadiens look toward Ryan Walter, head it to the other side instead to Desjardins. Plays it around the boards. Now Schneider likes to dump it back in again. That makes it easy for the penalty killers, yet they don't clear it out on this opportunity, and the Canadiens set up for their shot. It's blocked by Froese. Naslund after the rebound. Puck comes out of the corner onto the stick of Lindy Rupp. Up right in front of goaltender Brian Hayward. And 47 seconds is all that's remaining in Ryan Mullen's cross-checking penalty.
Again, not a real crisp setup, Jiggs. They move the puck around, but you don't get a sense that they're playing with any authority or confidence, and that's probably why they're 21st overall.
Could well be. Granado just took the puck and wheeled it out to center ice where Chris Chelios handles it down. Back to Lume. Lume goes to the left side with the pass. Canadians feed it right back to Richer, and a good move. Richer out there with Castles. Also in on the play is Shane Corson. Corson from the back of the net. Look toward the point. Look toward the slot. There is nobody there. This is Andrew Castles handling it now. Castles played his junior hockey at Ottawa, Ontario under Brian Kilray. And right in front, Corson scores. Corson, with only a second remaining in the man advantage, gives Montreal the lead.
Well, again, when you talk about, mentioned beforehand, and not just moving the puck, they just didn't seem to be moving with any authority. Watch how quick this puck comes across the ice to Corson. Russ Cordell, the puck is not going to stay on his stick. It's going to come down low, and right away the puck's going to come across. It even bounces, and then it's into the net. But it never allows Leach, who had come up high. Leach is going to come up high on Cassels. The puck's going to go over. It's going to take a little hop, but again, as soon as it's on the stick, it's gone. Leach just never gets a chance to get back in the play. So when you talk about moving the puck, even though the puck bounced on them, that puck movement just never allowed Brian Leach to get back in the play. 1-0 Montreal.
And it came exactly at the moment that Mullen was to be released from the penalty box. Mullen went off at 11:43. 2 minutes later, Corson scores his 13th of the season. Now the Rangers over the line. Kissio couldn't drop it to Brian Mullen cleanly, and the Canadiens start out of the zone. Down the left side with it. Canadiens unable to do any business, however, in the Rangers zone in this case. Chelios takes it at his own blue line. Interesting young man, the captain of the Canadiens. Rodnick has sent his man across the line. Mullen dropped it back to Kissio, to Mullen, and he shot it right across the front of the Canadiens' goal. Montreal up 1-0, and that goal at 13:43 of the opening period. Here's James Patrick with a pass to Kelly Kissio, now to Brian Leach. Leach steps over the Montreal line, drops the puck to Ogrodnik, sets it up for Kissio, as backhander blocked in front by Chelios. Chelios slugs it out into center ice. 3 Rangers, now 4 get back as Chelios comes over the line. Had Gilchrist open, couldn't get the puck to him. Gilchrist goes to the right wing board, puts it back in the net. That's Strudlin going in after it, then got bumped by James Patrick, and we watch Brian Leach stick handling through center ice. A pass to Chris King. King is checked by Chelios. Chelios to Gilchrist here on the right side. He got knocked down, or Jocelyn Lemieux rather, and Lume drops back to the Montreal defense. Lume works it out toward center. That's King chasing it for the Rangers. Chris King turned it over, but it's offside as the Canadiens bring it over the Ranger blue line. Montreal on that goal by Corson, taking a 1-0 lead over the New York Rangers. The scoring on the Montreal goal is Corson from Richer and Lume.
We'll see a collision here between Ryan Walter and Chris King just inside the Ranger blue line. Chris King doing what he does best. Started out pretty well. Looks like he could play, but tailed off also. I mean, he has not been, he seems to have lost half a step as he's been around the circuit once here.
A lot of criticism last year of Phil Esposito and all the deals, and now the same people are criticizing Neil Smith for not making deals. The new general manager is in a little bit of a hot seat just now.
Well, the problem with the management or anything in this particular franchise is patience, and the city of New York really doesn't have an overabundance of patience anywhere, and I don't think we should be surprised that they're not patient with their hockey team.
I could sense that as soon as I came through the tunnel this afternoon. It was that bah humbug routine again.
They face off to the right of the Montreal net on an icing call. Patrick Waugh, there you go. Talk about the eccentrics of a goaltender.
Yes, Patrick does have them. The 24-year-old, though, has a 2.58 goals against average, and how do you quarrel with whatever he wants to do? He drops the puck, and that's all you can ask. Canadiens with a 1-0 lead at Madison Square Garden. Naslund, neat little pass to Keane. Keane trying to move in. Gets chased back in the net by Lindy Ruff. Bobby Smith comes in looking for a loose puck. Found it, too. Ruff gets to him, hacks away at Smith. Smith controlling it, knocked off balance. There's going to be another penalty to the Rangers. Lindy Ruff will get the gate for hooking. Only 3 minutes and 32 seconds to play in this first period.
Now, Bobby Smith's size is going to draw this penalty. Lindy Ruff is going to take Keane off the puck. Smith's going to pick the puck up. Now, watch. He hits Keane here, and it's going to come around the corner. Bobby Smith's going to pick it up. Now watch Bobby Smith use all 6-3 of them to keep the puck away from Ruff. Now Ruff is frustrated. He can't get the puck. The play's in the middle of the ice. Doesn't really pull him down, but it's a penalty. It's 6-3. That range just keeping the puck away from the defender. Lindy Ruff's going to get 2 for hooking.
So Montreal goes to the power play for the second time in this game. We talked about the Canadiens' power play being non-productive. They have Chelios on the right point. And over on the left point on this particular setup, the Canadiens using Schneider. This is Naslund being hounded on the play by Eriksson. John Eriksson broke it up. Now Bobby Smith handles it for the Canadiens. Smith drives it in from the center ice area. Chelios takes the man. The puck does not get back to Courtnall, however, and Leach has to chase it back to the Ranger goal. He left it for Patrick. Trying to get it to Janssens, and that didn't work. Here's Chelios. Drops it back to Courtnall. Couldn't find any room, and now Schneider with a shot to change direction. Comes right back to Chelios. Winds up for the drive, but missed from the glove side. And Schneider will chase it back for Montreal.
A very low percentage shot by Chris Chelios. He was better off just pulling the puck back and setting up again.
Chelios in on every goal in last night's 3-1 game, including the one for Detroit. According to Red Fisher of the Montreal Gazette, he's been all over Chelios. We'll talk to Chris about that during the first intermission. That shot right in front, deflected and throws, comes up with a big stop for the Rangers.
Matthew Schneider finding himself in the right point of the power play. Prior to being called up here, he did the 29 points. So we're going to see him. He's just putting the puck to the net, pulling it over on his forehand. Bob Rose played pretty well here tonight. He's in the middle of the net. He's moving with the puck. Can't be faulted on the goal. Schneider, as we mentioned before, did have 6 goals and 13 assists for 19 points in 28 games in Sherbrooke prior to being called up. So he shows a little bit of offensive flair. On that particular play, he was just advancing the puck to the net. Now, big face-off here.
Ranger fans concerned about their team dropping out of first place last night. Well, Mike Foligno has given them a little bit of help. He has just scored for the Buffalo Sabres, and they trail Philadelphia now by only 1 goal, 3-2. Flyers leading Buffalo, but here the New York Rangers have their own problems. They're down by a goal. They're a man short, and Granato brings them over the Montreal blue line. On a Granato centering attempt, drops and skates. Granato able to knock it away from the first man out. Richer picks it up and steps over the line. Richer looked toward Castles, held the puck. Richer works it in a little deeper. Good play by Stefan Richer, and then it's broken up and cleared out by Turcotte. 10 seconds, all that's remaining, and the penalty time to Lindy Ruff. So the Canadiens, not finding the range with his man advantage, elect to dump it in, and the teams are at 6 aside again. Orson in forechecking. Knocks James Patrick down, and he's on top of the puck, so play is called. Final meeting of the season between Montreal and the Rangers, 2 teams that met for the Stanley Cup in the spring of 1979. That must bring back some memories, Dave.
Sure does. We have John Davison calling the game from Madison Square Garden over our shoulders here, and he was a significant factor in that series, the whole playoff run, and that was the most vivid memory I have of his acrobatics against your club, the Islanders, and the thing is, on that one fleeting moment, you are never able to grasp what it was like at the time. You had that ability to look at it again from up top to see really what it was like. But it was fun. That was as close as we ever got.
Well, the 2 teams got to the semifinals again a couple of years ago. Of course, the careers of Davidson and Dave Maloney had ended by that point with this team. Here's a penalty call from referee Terry Gregson, a holding penalty. 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the first period, and the Rangers will get a power play opportunity.
Todd Ewan, it looks like his reputation as a pugilist has created some sort of impression in referee Terry Gregson's mind. Pat Burns is begrudgingly looking at his player go to the bench. He's just going to haul down Jeff Blumberg here. Again, much like the first penalty he took, just kind of a half a step behind and reaching out and grabbing. And Burns, kind of an iffy call, but in the meantime, around the puck, you know the call is going to be made.
Coach has a new 4-year contract coming into this season after being the coach of the year last season in the NHL. Says it's the greatest job in hockey, Dave. You have to understand that it comes with a curse. And that, of course, is the pressure that you're under in Montreal with the dual language newspapers and all. There's James Patrick in the shot that's wide of the net, and Kissio sets it up for Leach. Feeds it to Patrick. James Patrick with a drive. Hayward, the pad saves. Sandstrom handles the rebound. Set it back to Patrick. Now to Leach. Leach, a cross-ice pass. Sandstrom faked once. Back it goes to Patrick. Over to Sandstrom. Sharp angle shot turned aside by Hayward. Laid up along the boards by Ludwig. Goes off Patrick and over the glass behind the Montreal players' bench.
But again, for the Ranger power play, Sandstrom had two opportunities to the left. He took the poorer of the opportunities to shoot. He was a little too low. The first opportunity he had, he was more to the top of the circle. As I was saying, watch here. Again, the puck's going to come to the net. But Hayward sees all kinds of puck in that play. I mean, the Canadiens just do such a good job in front of their own net that the goaltender can't help but stop. And we look at Sandstrom and Nielsen, it looks like he may suggest, let's get a little better shot than that one that you finally shot.
Well, Roger popped something into his mouth. I'm wondering if that is Digel or Tagamus. With things not going as well as they had been earlier in the season, Roger sputtering as his team is. Chelios and Ruff chasing the puck. Desjardins moved it up the boards, but the Rangers hold it in. One more shot blocked in front. Granado got one away. Another penalty call coming. An interference penalty, and I believe against the Rangers, as the goalkeeper Hayward was pushed and backed into the goal mouth underneath the crossbar, and Lindy Ruff not pleased with the call from Terry Gregson. Only 9 seconds left in the period.
Well, Lindy Ruff's out there to do exactly what he did. That's to cause some havoc in front of the net. And that's, he's enjoying an opportunity on the power play. I'm not quite sure where that penalty is called. We'll take a look here. He has not yet bumped into anybody, and he has not yet pulled anybody over. Maybe in the goal crease, maybe he's got the call for him standing in the goal crease. But in the meantime, Lindy Ruff expresses a displeasure, and I think legitimate argument there on behalf of Lindy Ruff.
In any event, the teams are at 5 aside now, including the goalkeepers, but only 9 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0, Montreal leading on Shane Corson's 13th goal of the season. The start of the game delayed tonight with some problems. The ice surface just not right for the beginning of the game. They came out with the Zamboni resurfaced. The game was actually about 20 minutes, well, say 15 minutes late in its usual start time. Ryan Sprudlin to Ludwig, dropped it back to Chelios, bangs one off the glass here on the near side, and Leach with a long shot that's handled by Hayward, and that'll do it for the opening period. Well, neither team really got much set up here in the first period, Dave.
No, it was not. With the team struggling as the Rangers just can't dictate any play, and they have to do that at this point of the ball game. I thought that was probably the best point out of the first period. They just seem to be going along and not playing with any authority.
Yeah, they just, you cannot, especially in your own arena, let the visiting team come in and set the standard or the style of play that you're going to have to play. It's up to you. You're here to entertain the people who paid to come see you play. The Rangers just didn't do that. We had a look at the scoreboard and some of the renovation that's going on here. Multi-million-dollar project, adding more super boxes and eliminating some of the blue seats, unfortunately. Portnall is over the Ranger line, fires one off left wing that hit the defenseman Horsheva. Horsheva and Patrick at the side of the net now, moves it up to Granado, to Turcotte. Aaron Turcotte trying to get a step on Chelios, and the Canadiens defenseman and captain over to knock the puck away. There's Granado after it now. Got tied up back in the net with Ludwig. And in 10 seconds, there'll be a brief power play opportunity for the Montreal Canadiens. Rupp will have the balance of his interference penalty to serve as Ewan is about to be released from his holding penalty. Sharp angle shot as Granado rounded the net. And now Blumberg fires one from the blue line that deflected. 57 seconds remaining in the penalty time against Lindy Ruff. The Canadiens trying to get out of their own end of the ice here. Turning with it is Courtnall. Russ Courtnall, the younger brother of the Washington Capitals, Jeff Courtnall, couldn't get out. Chelios handles it. Jansen's in to forecheck, and the pass jumped over the stick of Craig Ludwig. Back to Chelios. Up the left side with it is Richer. Richer across the line. What a play. Richer cuts in a backhander. Off throws, and he's able to cover it with the catching glove at the very last second. Some move by that man, number 44, Stefan Richer, and a better move by that one, Bob Pro.
Well, Bob Pro's going to make a save, but this is Jeff Blumberg's first opportunity to see Stefan Richer. Whoops. Now he's going to go the next time. That's filed now. This is the one time he's a young guy coming into the league. That is a big move as far as Richer is concerned. But again, he knows he's a rookie. He's going to give him a little fake. Stands upright. He got him out of position, and now he's fighting to get back. And Frozy's just going to reach back, Bob Froze, and grab the puck with his gloved hand. But again, Blumberg, a young guy, first time seeing Richer. Richer gives him the fake. That won't happen again.
Or if it does, we may not see much more of Jeff Blumberg, right? Yeah, as you said, you file that away. That's there. You know now what you can expect. Puck tied up in the far boards deep in the Rangers zone. As the Canadiens set up with this bad advantage, it has all but expired, and they are chased back into their own zone. Jansen's up with a good forechecking job, knocking it away from the defenseman, Lume. Ruff is back out on the ice. Montreal leading 1-0. The second period just nicely underway. This is Chelios. Lead pass out of the reach of Richer. Bob Prose moves it around to the right side. And here is James Patrick. Moved it through center ice off Ericsson's stick. Lume turned it over. Ryan Leach steps over the line. Leach, weak pass off the heel of the stick. The Canadiens take over again. Turning with it is Lume. Lume gives it away off right wing. Mullen with a shot. Blocking glove save by Brian Hayward. Now Desjardins over to knock it away from Kissio of the Rangers. Ends up back of the net. Here's John Ogrodnik. He's had a red-hot stick recently, but he cannot get it back to the blue line in time. Bloomberg on the right point. Orshava on the left. The Rangers, without David Shaw, his injury reoccurred this past week. He'll be gone for another 3 weeks. Wednesday night, they lose Randy Moeller, one of their best defensemen this season. He's gone for a month with that dislocated shoulder. Greshner so beat up he can't play. Hardy's missing his 4th straight game. Not many regulars left on the Ranger defense. They trail Montreal only 1-0 here at Madison Square Garden as Kissio steps over the line and his shot is deflected by Desjardins and ends up in the seats. Canadiens 1, Rangers 0. So we talk about Richer, we talk about many others. When it comes to heart and soul of the Montreal Canadiens, the man is ready to face off there. Dean Carmichael is just about the epitome of the Canadian standpoint.
And also very heady. When you speak of a heady hockey player, he is a guy. He gets himself in position by thinking. He does a lot of real cerebral things on the ice for the Montreal Canadiens.
They have him out there with Ewan at the moment. And the Rangers have just iced the puck.
Brian Mullen, well documented from the west side of Manhattan, younger brother of Joey Mullen. And Brian, as a matter of fact, was the stick boy the year that the New York Rangers went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1979. Went on to Wisconsin and Winnipeg. John Ferguson drafted him, and then Phil got him here in New York. But quite a story when you think that the Mullen fellas enjoying the notoriety and success that they do, coming from the environments that they do also, as opposed to us old Canadian pucksters who grew up doing nothing but playing hockey. It's a real credit to their talent.
Yeah, it really is. You come into Manhattan, look for Hell's Kitchen, you say, really, a hockey player came from this area? And then Mickey would take you over to Staten Island and say, well, the Patillo talents were developed here.
Sure.
Staten Island, Long Island, where he played a lot of games too. A little different than the beaches of California. Now the Canadians, Andy Castles across the line. Brought back to the point. Up in a little deeper, now trying to feed the blue line again, and Schneider has to chase it. Matt Burns teaming Schneider and Chelios as his defense combination here. That's Schneider with it. Steps over center ice and dumps it in. Alexander Mogilny has scored for Buffalo, and they're all even now with the Philadelphia Flyers. 3-3 in that game. Maybe the Rangers will get a little help here. Kissio dumps the puck into the Montreal zone. That's Chelios being hounded by Kissio. Mullen came in late, couldn't get to it, however. And the Canadiens feed it up right wing. Mike Keane dumps it through center ice, and back for New York is James Patrick. Lindy Ruff pass to Thomas Sandstrom on the left side. Tried to play it through center, but Naslin had that well read. That's Naslin checked at the blue line. Here's Patrick. Giving it to Ruff. Up over the Montreal line, sent it to right wing for Jansen. Flips the center one back. Good play by Chelios. Chris Chelios steps over center. Head the right side. That keen, long shot. Pad saved by Froze, and Brian Leach clears the zone. Chelios waiting for his teammates to get back on side. Dumps it in. We played 5 minutes of the second period. Still 1-0. Montreal leading the Rangers. Lindy Ruff clears the zone for New York. Chelios backing up on defense. Ludwig on the other side. Chelios had been playing the left side. Ryder goes for a rest. Chelios shifts over to the right. Long shot off the left side by Strudlin. Rose got a chunk of that. Ryan Strudlin sets up back to the net. He has Courtnall open. Centers one. It comes outside the line. And Ludwig takes it right back to Chelios. Chelios dumps it in. Now he'll get a rest as Desjardins comes out to play the right side of the Montreal defense. Pass by Russ off the boards into the Montreal zone, and Eric Desjardins takes over back in the net. Strudlin moves up the right side, taking the pass from Desjardins. He's giving it to Jocelyn Lemieux. 3 men back. Lemieux's shot was wide. Out on the near side. Broughton and Miller out there together for the Rangers, and here's Leach handling the puck. He's over the Montreal line on right wing. Centers one, and Paul Broughton couldn't get a shot away. Lume moves it to the right side, and long shot, pad save. Good stop off Jocelyn Lemieux by Bob Froze. Canadiens seem to be taking over again here. Move it up the middle. Into the center ice area. Castles drops one back. As for Corson, that was just wide of the net. Right across again, and Chris King has it for the Rangers. King checked by Castles. Puts it into his own territory. Now to Lume. Lume over the line. Castles well covered. Got knocked down on the play by Miller, but here's Richer with a drive. That missed the net. Was off the glass and up into the seats. Play stopped with 13 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the second period.
The Montreal Canadiens at this point of the hockey game are just playing a real solid, smart game. There was an instance in that last stretch where they advanced from the top of their own circle to the offensive blue line with 3 quick passes. There wasn't any skating involved. There was just tic-tac-toe, and they were in the Ranger end. Nothing fancy, just good, solid, creative hockey.
Pat Burns told me today that he felt his team was just about there. It was his line that in Montreal you've had only a fair season if you win the Stanley Cup. A good season, I should say, and anything less than that isn't good enough. But he said his team is just about healthy again. They've had so many injuries this year, and he said they're just about at the stage he hoped that they would be. Richer handling the puck with a pass to Castles, who got checked. Castles just back from that separated shoulder, getting a lot of ice time. Now Granato moves in for the Rangers, who shot it wide of Brian Hayward. The Rangers have had only 1 shot on goal through the first 7.5 minutes of the second period.
There's an example, Jake. Good rush, no shot. When they hit the blue line with some authority, they never got a shot.
Look at the job here by Richer as he centered one in front and went right back to the net again. Guy Carbonneau with the pass. Ryan Walters well covered, and the Rangers come to center ice. Roy Millette dumps it into the Montreal zone. Hayward let it go for Lume, and that'll be an icing call against the Rangers. 12 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in this second period. The Canadiens were winless in 4 games until last night. They'd gone 4 without a win until they beat Detroit at home. And Roger Nielsen has seen his team in a bit of a problem this week after a scoreless tie last Saturday night, a week ago last night with the Islanders. They dropped 2 straight. Went to Long Island, led 2-0 last night, and ended up in the short end of a 4-3 score.
Well, it was a situation last night in the middle period where they had a 5-on-3 advantage against the New York Islanders and failed to capitalize. And for all intents and purposes, that was the ball game. LaFontaine took over, and the Rangers lost 4-3. But you have to have the horses too, Jakes. I mean, they've got a lot of good bodies hurt.
They really do, and now they're facing the top 2 teams in the Adams division. The Canadiens here tonight, and Buffalo comes calling on Wednesday. Montreal is off until Friday night when they go into Buffalo. Over the line with it is Carbonneau, but he had a man ahead of the play over on right wing, so that put everything offside.
A little extra move by Guy Carbonneau is going to put Ryan Walter offside on this particular play. The Canadiens will have Carbonneau and Naslund will probably be the 2 guys that will very seldom either dump the puck or take it in. What they'll do is they'll try and gain that offensive blue line and make that little curl inside and look for the late guy to come. Naslund particularly and Carbonneau secondarily are the two players that will make that play inside the offensive blue line.
Matt Naslund with 13 goals now in the season, and it wasn't that long ago I was in Montreal, and one of the writers said, I thought Matt Naslund was staying in Sweden next year. Reference to the fact that he had been almost invisible in the Canadiens lineup, but how can you regard 13 goals and a playmaker like Naslund as invisible?
Well, the thing is, I think they look to him to score. And on a team, although they do lead the Adams, I was surprised, they do lead the Adams division in goals for, but they are a team, when you mention Montreal, you say, boy, they can't get a goal. And I think that is who people would look to, and maybe it's just not Matt Naslund to score a lot of goals.
And, of course, he was non-productive in the playoffs, especially the Stanley Cup Finals against Calgary last spring. Right now, Montreal nursing a 1-0 lead over the New York Rangers. We're at Madison Square Garden. I'm Diggs McDonald with Dave Maloney. Orcheva has the puck for the Rangers. The Kissio, checked by Chris Chelios. Montreal taking that center ice area away, and the Rangers just not getting anything set up. Puck dumped in here, and Orcheva steps from back of the net, only to be checked. Now it's cleared out of the zone by Brian Mullen. Rangers have to chase it. Just cannot get something set. Now Kissio gets it across the line. He's given it to Ogrodnik. The centering attempt cleared out by Carbonneau. Won't go far enough for icing. Orcheva back on the play for the Rangers. Looked up the middle. Gave the pass to Jansen. He had nobody with him, so he dumps it in off the board. Immediately, you know what the Canadiens will do. Clear it out.
That's all. I mean, you do a good, they do such a good job through the neutral zone. They just clog any opportunity you have, that being Montreal. They just are so good through the neutral zone.
Now Bloomberg gets tied up in the corner to the right of his goal. Jeff Bloomberg able to move it up the wing, however. And here come the Rangers, a 2-on-1 developing. Sandstrom, Leach moves in, shoots, just missed. And the rebound is shot wide by Thomas Sandstrom. Jansen puts it back in the net. There's Sandstrom for the Rangers. Trying to center, it goes off the side of the net. And is brought out by Castles. He's given it to Bobby Smith. Smith heads to the front of the net. Now Castles cuts in. The long shot off left wing by Keane was turned aside. Sandstrom over center ice. Has Jansen with him. Sandstrom with a shot that's blocked at the defense. Sandstrom feeds it back. One touched it onto the stick of Leach. Back to the net. Sandstrom center. Nothing doing there as he handled Grodnik in front. Back come the Montreal Canadiens. Gilchrist across the line with a pass to Smith. Centered one just out of the reach of his teammate, Mike Keane. Rangers come up 3-on-2 as play opens up. Sandstrom across the line with a pass. Erickson on the backhand. Couldn't hold it. Now he gets bumped as he puts it back in the net. Sandstrom there trying to get away from Ludwig, who had fallen to his knees. Sandstrom with a shot. Pad saved by Hayward. It's underneath him. And he's held it long enough for a face-off. 9 minutes and 26 seconds left in the second period. A scuffle after Hayward comes up with a big save on behalf of the Canadiens. Offsetting penalties. That's Sandstrom in the box for the Rangers. Keane has gone off for Montreal.
Well, Brian Leach is a guy, again, that's going to be a major factor in any offense. He's going to lead a rush. Now, off to the left, Gilchrist is going to come back, and Sandstrom, it started out as a 2-on-1, but Gilchrist, through good effort, essentially takes the cross-ice pass away. Leach has to shoot the puck to the net and misses the net.
Roughing penalties to Keane and Sandstrom. Roger Nielsen has Chris King out on the ice, along with Paul Broughton and Kevin Miller. He's playing the two kids up from Flint together, along with King, who moves into forecheck on Ludwig. And Lindy Ruff moves up, fires one off the catching glove of Brian Hayward. Out come the Montreal Canadiens. Jocelyn Lemieux with a pass to Portnoy, who was in his skate. Rocky tips it into the center ice zone. This is Chelios for Montreal. One high that was blocked. A shot from King after having delivered one to begin with, and Chris Chelios is ticketed for the penalty box. That is set up a Ranger power play. Chris King staring at Chelios, but the Rangers trailing will get a chance to get back in here. We pause now for a regional break.
The play was called and we went to break. Jocelyn Lemieux came over and took a poke at Chris King, and Terry Craigson has whistled King and Lemieux off for 10 minutes. But King starts the whole play in the neutral zone. Pat Burns surveying the situation with those detective eyes. I'm not sure that I'd want to be on the receiving end of those.
No, I'm sure there are a lot of people in Hull, Quebec happy that he's off the police force.
That's for sure. Roger Nielsen's figuring out a way he's going to get his troops involved here, and that's really what they have not been, is involved. And I think that's a real big word here halfway through this hockey game for the Rangers.
Chelios for roughing at the 11-12 mark sets up the Ranger power play. This is their third opportunity of the night with an advantage. Patrick has given it to Leach. Patrick fires one through a screen and was blocked. Rangers get to it again, however. Top coming back. Patrick with a drive, tipped wide of the net. Picked up by Granato. He got bucked off the puck, however. And Eric Desjardins has dumped it out for Montreal.
Well, this power play, the Rangers have opted to put Ruff again in front of the net, hoping to create a little traffic in front of Hayward and open the ice up for your guys around the perimeter.
Including the two earlier chances tonight since Harry Wilson was hurt. The Ranger power play has operated at a 14% efficiency. Only 16 power play goals in 116 chances, including the two prior chances tonight. Leach moves it up the right side. Mullen in after it. Less than a minute to go in the penalty time against Chelios. And the Canadiens break up the Ranger play. Ryan Strudlin carrying it across the New York line. Strudlin playing it around the board. Brett Gilchrist. Gilchrist and Strudlin up front. Ludwig on one side of the defense. Lume on the other for the red-class Canadiens. Ryan Mullen dumps one in. Lume gets to it back to that. All three Rangers forwards back to the goal line. Now Mullen comes out in front. The puck was there, but will not escape. Facing it is O'Brien. Ronald Gagnick shoveled it around to Kelly Tissio. Back to Sanford. Bloomberg now is hovering the left point. Tissio held the puck and shot at the pass. Save. The rebound was there. Turned aside. Another shot is blocked in the goal mouth. Rangers getting some shots now, but not able to beat Brian Hayward. Here's Leach out of the corner. His shot is blocked at the defense, and the Canadiens break out of the zone. Ryan Strudlin is across the Ranger line. Has a man open in front. Chelios shoots and scores! Chelios out of the penalty box after serving that penalty for elbowing has given the Canadiens a 2-0 lead.
Chris Chelios is just going to sneak out of the penalty box here and get himself a goal. What happens, Brian Leach spends an awful lot of time fighting and struggling down low. Now he picks himself up, but he's a tired cowboy coming back. At this time now, Chelios is out of the box, and Strudlin's going to find him right here. Nobody else has found him until Chelios gets the puck from Strudlin. But again, Brian Leach does a lot of good things down here to get something going. But now he's out of position, and he's a tired guy trying to come back. He spent the whole power play on the ice. Strudlin comes up. Chelios is now out of the box. There's the yell. See the look. Across it comes. And Chelios is going to take his time and bury it in the short side. It's interesting. See Strudlin take that little peek. That must have been when Chelios. Watch him. Right there. He must have just heard Chelios yell. Because all the way up the ice, Chelios had been out of the box, but he hadn't seen him. 2-0 hockey game.
And again, the puck not flat when it came to Chelios. It was wobbling.
The ice, huh?
Yeah, well, whatever. Enough English on it anyway. It worked. That's the main thing. The Canadiens lead 2-0. Chelios with his 8th of the season at 13-19 of the second period. Here's a tie-up here. The puck is put back to that Montreal goal. And it's cleared out and down the ice. Gilchrist will get an assist on the goal along with Strudlin. Troy Millette fires one high over the glass and on into the seats. Millette is handling one goal in the last 26 games, and he's just given somebody a souvenir. Reason for concern here amongst the Ranger fans. With a little less than 6 minutes to play in the second period, their team down 2-0. And at no time this season have the Rangers come back to win a game in which they trailed going to the third period.
I just don't think they have the makeup, particularly with this lineup. Who's going to get them that goal that they need?
We'll talk to Ranger General Manager Neil Smith on the second intermission. He's not going to be a very happy guy coming to join us, but he is an accommodating individual. really handled the New York media very well, and as everybody knows, they can be tough.
Well, the thing, too, is they've just come with a game plan, and they've established some sort of structure to an organization that needed it.
Yeah, stability, I guess, was what everybody was looking at after all the trades made over the last few years, and that's not meant as a knock against Phil Esposito by any means.
It's a difference in styles. If Phil was doing what he thought it took to win.
Here's Sandstrom unable to handle the puck. And Brent Gilchrist plays it to right wing, just out of the reach of Mike Keane. Gilchrist with it again. Waits, dumps it in off the boards. The Canadiens regain the blue line. Handling the puck now is Forsheva with a pass. Trouble handling it. John Erickson. And then it's hooked away by Bobby Smith of Montreal. Smith checked from behind by Erickson. The Chelios comes up with the puck. Starts a 3-on-2 rush at center with a pass to Gilchrist. Gilchrist wanted the man moving in front. Couldn't get it there in time. Collision on the board. Pulling some in from the boys. Here's Leach. Pass into the center ice zone. The letter's over the line. Got knocked down. He went to shoot one. It was ended up in the corner, but he comes right back to Chelios. Turns it around a little bit. Canadiens will take over again deep in their own zone. And Walter has given it to Chris Chelios. The right wing boards and all the way down into the Ranger zone. They rule it was either touched or could have been. There's ice breaking out. With a Montreal into the ice. Corey Millette.
Todd Ewan, this is a heavyweight battle.
The left helmet pulled back off his head. And Ewan down on top of him.
For the linesman's sake, this is at the tag end of a shift, so both players have been out for 30 or 40 seconds, and there isn't going to be a whole lot happening as opposed to two fresh combatants, and the linesmen are more than happy for that.
Linesmen tonight, Bozak and Brosiker get them separated. And here's what set off the fight just a few moments ago at Madison Square Garden.
But again, these two guys have been kind of eyeing. This was early in the shift. This did not lead to the fight. That was early in the shift. Now this is the tag end of the shift. Both guys, they set it up with a hit, and now they both say, we're at the tag end. Let's see if we can settle something here. But again, not a whole lot happened because I think they were both pretty tired.
Ewan acquired from St. Louis. Indication that Montreal felt they needed some muscle, some toughness in their lineup. Talking with Pat Burns, the coach, about that today, he pointed directly at the deal that the Islanders made with the Los Angeles Kings, in which they picked up Ken Baumgartner. If you could just see the Islanders start to emerge as a team, not so much the winning, but emerge as a team. And he said, we just didn't have that. We were getting no toughness. The acquisition of Ewan.
Gives him that, that's for sure. I think, too, the way that Chris Chelios plays, he's a combative guy. What I think, too, the Montreal people are saying is this is going to take a little heat off of Chelios, and if he gets himself involved, he's going to have somebody to stick up for him.
Exactly. It's nice to have that kind of individual, isn't it? Into the center ice zone. Handling the puck now is Bloomberg. Dumps it into the Montreal end, and here's Chelios. He gives it to Bobby Smith. Turned it over, however. Mullen played it to right wing, back to Brian Mullen, just out of his reach. Roddick plays it back to the Canadiens' goal. And here's Chelios working it around Kissio. James Patrick pitching in from the right point. Pumped by Chelios, and the puck is lofted over the glass and up into the seats. 2 minutes, 47 seconds left in the second period.
Well, again, you know what? The Rangers really, they need a goal to bounce in off somebody's skate. Or get that one that just kind of bounces in to give them some hope, because they're not getting that many good opportunities.
No,
it's still a 2-0 hockey game. You get one cheap one here, that might give them some life.
And the puck cleared out by the Canadiens. We've learned from the Montreal dressing room that Matt Naslund has suffered a groin injury and will not be back tonight. Just when the Canadiens thought they were getting healthy, they suffered an injury to Naslund, and the Rangers offside as they tried to move into the Montreal zone. That's Brian Leach that you're looking at.
Brian Leach, for sure, and he's going to lug a lot of the ice time for the Rangers, and there's a thought that Roger Nielsen's system has taken a lot of what Brian Leach brings to the building out of Brian Leach. But he's the type of guy, I'm convinced, that he realizes what the system, and he probably takes it to that degree himself to take his own game out of his pocket. I don't think it's so much Nielsen saying, you got to do this. I think Leach says, this is the system he wants me to play. I have to do this. at his point in his career, and I think it's to his detriment, to tell you the truth.
He may have struck on a very good point. Leach, they look to for points, assists, and goals, and especially goals. Everybody likes to put the puck in the net. He hasn't scored in the last 15 on into the 16th game now, Dave, and has been playing at a -8. That's unlike Brian Leach. Here's Chelios with a shot. Out in front, Carbonell can't stop it underneath Rose. What a chance set up with little less than 2 minutes to go in the second period. That could have taken the Rangers right out of this thing.
Well, a little out of sight, out of mind. This puck's going to come out of this right corner off of Carbonell, and it's going to end up back on the point, the right point to Chelios. Now watch it develop here. Carbonell's going to get banged by Brian Mullen, but they kind of forget about him. And the way the puck comes off the boards, it almost comes to him. They just flat out forget about him because they expect the puck to go around. It's going to take a bounce off the boards of the glass here, take an odd angle out, and now they expect the puck to go out of the end, but, oh no, Carbonell's there. But it's more, you expect the play to flow up, it takes that bad hop, you forgot about Carbonell, and it ends up off his stick, but Froese, who I think still has played very well for this club. He hasn't been tested a whole lot, but he's been in position, and has just been beat cleanly on 2 good goals.
Mullen did a good job, took the man, but then released him.
But again, he sees the puck go around the boards, assumes that it's at least going to get to the point, and it doesn't. It takes that bad hop, and the puck comes back in.
And immediately, Naslund was at the net. This is Brian Leach reading his way into the Canadian zone, only to get checked. And Bobby Smith has the stick knocked out of his hands. Mike Keane is there to clear it down into the Rangers zone. Chasing it back. Sandstrom plays it into the center ice area. Canadians up with it again. They turn it over. Sandstrom shoots one from the blue line. Hayward the pad save, and Lume clears it out for Montreal. Handling it now is Lume. Played it to the left side. Mike Keane, Gilchrist, and Smith over the line together. Puck goes to the corner. That's Keane out to Bobby Smith. What a stop by Froese as Smith just dragged it right along the ice into the goal mouth. Smith goes into the corner, jabbing the puck out of some skates. Got it to Keane. Keane puts it in the corner for Smith. Out in front to Gilchrist. Another big save by Froese. Another one. He's without the stick, but got the catching glove up. Play is called. Mike Keane being challenged here. The linesman gets between Keane and Turcotte.
Mike Keane is just through perseverance. He's going to draw a penalty on Darren Turcotte. Keane's going to stay on top of the puck, and Turcotte's going to pull him down. See the play develop out of the corner right here. Bobby Smith moves it to the net. Now again, Keane's coming. Turcotte's got to pull him down. Again, puck again going to come out of the corner from Bobby Smith. He's going to get it towards the net. Keane's going to come out of the picture. He's just going to battle. He's got to step and battle, and Turcotte essentially has to pull him down because of that particular part of the ice. It's a pretty dangerous area to let a man shoot the puck. Thomas Sandstrom going to get an opportunity here, but boy, oh boy, they can line him up all day long, and there aren't going to be many NHL goalies going to let him in from there. But that's been one of the better Ranger offensive opportunities in the period, and I think that tells you a lot about the hockey game.
Take a look at the pads of Montreal goaltender Brian Hayward. The shot from Sandstrom, we're told, broke his stick. But he dropped down, made the save, and as Dave pointed out, saw it all the way. The Canadians with the man advantage as Turcotte is off for holding. We have less than a minute to go in the second period. This is Richer. Got a plate back from Shane Corson. Richer pulls it off the left wing boards into the corner for Corson. Andrew Castles takes it out of the corner. Gave it to Stefan Richer. Now to Lume, over to Chelios. Back to Lume. Onside pass. Richer shot one that was blocked. Good job by the young defenseman Bloomberg, timing it right, going down to block that drive.
Limping a little bit. He hasn't had an opportunity to get off the ice. That one hurt.
Bloomberg has it again in the far corner, works it around the boards. Lume comes in off the point. Played it through Richer to Castles. There's Richer, but not enough time. The period comes to a close. Still a minute and 5 seconds left on Turcotte's penalty. And the goal by Chelios Beating Bob Froese gives Montreal a 2-0 lead, and still that grinding, that convincing type style of the Canadiens.
This is a very, very frustrating game for a player to play in. I played in enough to get Montreal in the finals as opposed to Boston, who we had lost 3 times to, but it turned out Boston was pretty banged up. We may have had a better shot with Boston, but boy, that hindsight is something.
Yeah, it's not a matter of who you're playing, but when you're playing.
That's right.
Still a minute, make it 50 seconds rather, remaining in Turcotte's holding penalty as the third period is underway. Lume steps from back of the Montreal goal. Eriksson into forecheck, broke up the pass, gives it to Jansen. It slipped off his stick right to Lume. Now to Richer. Takes a shot at the blue line, trying to get around Leach. The puck knocked loose. Back to Chelios. Goes cross ice to Lume. In a little deeper. Castle's in front of the net. Can't get the pass from Corson. And here's Eriksson for the Rangers. Jan Eriksson played it around Richer. Lume has it for Montreal. He's given it to Shane Corson. Corson trying to go in on the boards. Rubbed up by Lindy Rupp. Rupp plays it up right wing. That's Brian Mullen bouncing one down into the Montreal end of the ice. And that will kill off the penalty against Turcotte. Neither team able to do any business with the power play. And that long shot from Mullen and Hayward back into the goal mouth. Now at center ice, Lindy Rupp takes a loose puck. Forces Montreal to chase it. Chelios steps from back of the net. He's given it to Carbonneau at center ice. Kissio broke up the play. Rangers controlling it now with Ogrodnik feeding it to Brian Mullen. Mullen shot into the catching glove of Hayward. He'll hold on to it. Held it long enough to get a face-off. And that'll be in the Montreal zone. There's Brian Hayward. Hazy, as his teammates call him, 29 years of age now, and Brian Mullen, the kid out of Hell's Kitchen, New York.
Brian Hayward, again, has not been tested, but has made a save when he had to make a save. In a couple of long shots, Mullen let go a long drifter here early in the third that he kicked out. But again, that's what you hope from your backup. You hope that he has the disposition to understand he's not going to play in every hockey game and takes that to the ice surface to give you an effort that's not going to hurt your hockey club. And Brian Hayward has the ability to do that, as does Bob Froese for the Rangers. Both teams are pretty well set in goal.
Hayward missed 5 games, had that knee injury. Came back last Monday. Bouncing shot again. Hayward forced to steer it to the corner. Ogrodnik and Kissio in after it. Now Mullen comes over to get a stick on it. Brian Mullen flips one high, goes over the glass and up into the seats.
We are again seeing evidence of the ice being a factor here. This puck is bouncing more as the game goes on. If they're not aware of the fact the game was held up at the start because of a problem with the ice setting up and creating grooves around the pipes that freeze the surface. Now as the game goes along and more people are in the building is warmer. The ice is a little bit softer, and we're seeing a lot of that early here in the third. That puck just seems to be bouncing wherever the heck it wants to bounce.
Very warm in the Garden. I don't understand it, but it is very warm in here tonight. There's a shot up the slot, and the rebound just fired wide of Hayward. The Rangers getting a little more going here at the start of the third than they showed us through the first 2 periods. But Courtnall takes the shot, steps over the line on right wing, dumps it around behind the net. That's Ryan Walter for the Canadiens to Guy Carbonneau. Now to Courtnall. Courtnall blasts one off the post. Through a screen, through a defenseman, Horseva in this case. And it clunked the goalpost. Courtnall with it again. Held it right at the line. Dumps one in front. Carbonneau gets it teed up, and it went off. Throws his stick. Out comes Horseva for the Rangers. Montreal in the middle of the player change. Horseva, a long shot is wide of Brian Hayward. And Desjardins rounds his own goal. Plays it up the left side. Brent Gilchrist at center ice now for Montreal. Dumps one in. And that goes out of play.
This is a replay here of Russ Courtnall's going to drill a high one here. Bob Froese doesn't see it, and once he sees it, he kind of flinches because it's coming about ear high, and it catches where the post meets the crossbar. But again, he doesn't see it, and when he finally sees it, he gives it a little scrunch, and the puck goes by him. Oh.
Well, an update on that game between the Flyers and the Buffalo Sabres. After Philadelphia had led 3-1, they end up losing 4-3. Very, very good Buffalo Sabre team comes back to win at home. They've lost only 1 game at home all season. That's at Boston this past Wednesday night. And Buffalo, NHL competition for both of the teams that we're watching here tonight. Sabres come in here on Wednesday to face the Rangers, then they'll be at home on Friday against Montreal. Big battle for the Adams Division lead at Christmas. Chelios playing the puck to the Ranger line. Leach knocked it down. Comes it to Montreal blue line, and that's Ludwig who's moving it up the board. The Canadiens will be content to grind it out here. Protect the lead as well, if not better, than most of the teams in the league. Leach turns it back to Kissio. Now to Ogrodnik. Kissio, the pass in his gate. He's able to get it onto the stick of Mullen. To Ogrodnik for a shot. Hayward's a save. Mullen puts it in the corner. Here's John Ogrodnik to Kelly Kissio. Kissio had to wait for the puck to arrive, and by then he was checked by Lume. Mullen with it, puts it in front. A deflection. Hayward down, has covered it, and held on for a face-off. So again, the Rangers get a little more going in the Montreal end of the ice.
Well, this is the line for the Rangers that's going to get it going. John Ogrodnik enjoying a fine season with 20 goals for the Rangers. Snapped one home late last night.
Oh, did he ever? I was kidding him down by the dressing room that there was a vapor trail on that one after he fired it.
He's going to get an opportunity here off the stick of Brian Mullen right in the slot. Doesn't get quite all the puck. He's coming across his body and tries to snap it. We're going to see here he's going to continue to jab at it on the tail end of the play, but boy, oh boy, the Canadiens don't give you much room in front of the net. So Ogrodnik tries to get the Rangers to score here.
Ogrodnik with 20 goals, playing at a plus 11. He leads the Rangers in goal scoring. He leads in the plus-minus category as well. And here's Jocelyn Lemieux breaking it. Oh, and it's tipped just over the net. Good pass to Strudland. But now Lindy Ruff clears the zone for the Rangers. Lost it to Courtnall. Off left wing, Russ Courtnall sets it up. Long shot, pad save, and a beauty off the left pad of Bob Prost. Jocelyn Lemieux with a quick shot, and now a takedown in the center ice area. Tony Granato and Courtnall, and referee Terry Gregson pointed at Granato. The rest of the players mill around. Really don't need to have a Players Association meeting tomorrow because all of them will have met tonight.
Well, we know that Bobby Smith is pretty involved, and he's not on the ice for the Canadiens. But Tony Granato is going to get a penalty here for ramming Russ Courtnall into the boards, a little over-exuberant on finishing a check.
Roughing penalty on Tony Granato at the 4:33 mark. So the Montreal Canadiens will go to the power play. We've talked about how they're 21st in the league. At the end of last season, at the end of 80 games in 88-89, they were 6th overall on the power play, but it just hasn't been there. Of course, Calgary won the President's Trophy with 117 points, went on to win the Stanley Cup. Montreal finished second with 115, and Montreal running second in the league right now to the Buffalo Sabres. But all of a sudden, the Buffalo lead is 4 points. The Rangers lose, and Montreal wins tonight. Canadiens still only 2 points off the lead in the division and the league. Pucked up in by the Canadiens. Richer, Castles, and Corson up front. On defense, it's Chelios and Ryan Walter as Mark Jansen dumps it in for the Rangers.
It's interesting. You don't see that intensity that they bring to the neutral zone to clog up on their power play. You don't see that intensity in the rest of their game, or in this particular phase of the Montreal game that you see in the rest of their game. They're bad passes, lazy passes. I'm sure Pat Burns has addressed that fact.
I would think so, yeah. Now across the line, Richer, and he turned it over to Brian Mullen, just exactly what Dave Maloney was talking about. Bad pass. Had a good read by Mullen, in all fairness.
But again, we suggest how disciplined and how they play through the neutral zone with that intensity in front of their net and pick up their men. But there were at least 4 just lazy passes and lazy puck movement on that particular power play.
37-year-old head coach, last year's coach of the year in the NHL, Pat Burns. Well, there's a man who is under all kinds of scrutiny every move he makes in Montreal. He's bilingual, very fluent in French. Grew up just down the street from the Forum, but because his name is Burns and not Bernier.
Exactly. I think that's the thing that Chris Chelios will always have hanging over him as they try to establish that captaincy from an American in the fabled Forum. That's Pat Burns and Chris Chelios both suffer unfairly from that situation.
Now Lindy Ruff on the Ranger defense held it in, lost his balance, and went down, and Bobby Smith has the puck. Smith gave it to Lume. They move it up the left side, right back to Smith. Smith carries it across the line, trying to cut into the middle, got surrounded, but dished the puck off neatly to Gilchrist, to Lume, now to Desjardins. Into Gilchrist, parked on the right wing boards. Back it goes to Desjardins, to Lume. At the top of the circle, he fires one, throws the save, and there's no further play.
Again, Mike Keane does a good job just kind of planting himself in front of the net and allowing Montreal to move that puck around to get some sort of decent shot. Brian Leach. Keane now is in front battling with Leach, I believe it is, and Lume, again, not a high percentage shot, but a shot towards the net again. Brian Leach and Mike Keane battling it out, and we've discussed Brian Leach. He's a player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The thing that reminds me of, he's a Brad Park that can skate. I mean, he's a heady player, and in the scheme of things, certainly Brad Park could skate, but relative to the rest of the oars at that time, I think Leach is a Brad Park that skates a little bit better.
An excellent student. Had the opportunity to stop and see one of those prep school games recently at Avon Old Farms as they played Taft. Beautiful facility. But everybody there, not just the hockey staff, but some of the teaching staff, the instructors were saying that he was such a good player that he could have perhaps missed a homework assignment or taken it easy a couple of times. Never did. Everything was there on time. Good student. Worked hard. I think that he stepped right into the National Hockey League after Avon Old Farms and a stint, of course. Yeah. He is outstanding. Art Berglund, by the way, who's general manager of that U.S. Olympic team in 1988, on hand taking in tonight's game. He's got to be pleased with the development of American-born hockey players. Chelios comes to mind. Schneider is in the lineup for Montreal tonight. Ludwig. Leach. So many, many more.
I think we're really seeing a good fallout from that 80 Olympic win for the Americans. At some point we can discuss that. But I think these guys were all at a particular point in their life where that was a very big factor. You know, they're 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds at that time where that 80 Olympic team was a real big factor in American hockey.
It sure was. Not too many of the players from that team left in the league anymore, but the memories go on. I think when we look back at the decade of the 80s, we can say what we like about hockey. Just hockey, period, at all levels. That will be the key. The win, Lake Placid. Long shot, off throws. Going into forecheck. The Montreal Canadiens trying to free things up here. Puck comes back along the boards, and it's Kissio playing it to the left side now for Tomas Sandstrom. Sandstrom just overled Kissio at the Montreal blue line. Puck loose behind the net. Chelios gets to it. Plays it up the right side to Todd Ewan. Ewan, number 36, has a younger brother who's playing in the Islander organization. Saw him jump off the ice into the opposing team's players' bench. Nobody would come out to fight, so he went to get them.
Doesn't fall far from the tree, is that?
It runs with the family, doesn't it? Kissio with his stick up a little on the far side of the ice. The puck dumped in. Now a full-fledged scuffle breaks out. Kissio getting an earful from the Montreal bench, responded. Got a couple of guys on the bench interested in throwing the dukes in the direction of Kelly Kissio. The linesman trying to get people pulled away. They have Schneider out of there. Ryan Mullen pushing and shoving with Jocelyn Lemieux. Well, we'll get a couple of penalties, apparently.
Kelly Kissio is going to get called here. High sticking and roughing with Schneider from the Canadiens. Right there, I think it's Corson grabs Kissio's sweater. And that starts everything by the bench. And without the power of replay, the official did not see that. And that would have been a penalty had the official seen that particular sweater pull from the half bench.
Schneider and Kissio penalized at the 8:41 mark. And now a delayed penalty call. Referee Terry Gregson detecting a slash here. Expression on Pat Burns' face tells you which team is going to be penalized. Blue Blanc Rouge.
Jocelyn Lemieux is going to get a 2-minute slash penalty, and Pat Burns now is thinking that this is not a penalty we need to have, and it could be a fallout from what happened in front of the bench, just kind of carried over, and Burns has got to be thinking at this point of the ball game, although the Rangers are struggling, it's not a time to take a penalty of this nature. Our physical game is not establishing anything for us. We don't need to have it that way in this particular hockey game. So Lemieux, now the Rangers get an opportunity. They go on the power play with 11 minutes left in the third period, trailing by 2.
And on the power play, Turcotte goes to center. Ruff is on the left wing. And Granato is on the right side. Patrick and Leach on the points for the Rangers. This is Brian Leach handling it. Gilchrist had been in for checking, now backs out. As does Brian Strudlin. Over the line with it is James Patrick. Patrick gets checked by Lume. Hervé Lume knocks the puck away from a couple of Rangers and gets knocked down as well. And they feed the blue line for Brian Leach. Lets one go. Blocked by Hayward. They can't clear it out on the original attempt. Now they do. Lume skies one high, and it ends up deep in the Ranger zone. A minute and 20 seconds remaining in Jocelyn Lemieux's penalty for slashing. Leach moving the puck to James Patrick. Didn't find his way to Patrick. Now Granato brings it over the line. He got bumped by Brian Strudlin. Down the boards it goes. Craig Ludwig out for Montreal. Fed it out into the center ice zone. This is Strudlin. Brian Strudlin turning. He was a long time getting back into the Canadiens lineup after an injury during training camp. It means an awful lot to the team. Number 39 just killed off the first half of the penalty and gets a rest. Ryan Walder out to pick up the penalty killing. Backhands it high and it goes into the penalty box. We started to mention a few moments ago, as you look at Roger Nielsen, about a meeting here in New York tomorrow. Bobby Smith will be one of 6 players at that search committee meeting to find a successor to Alan Eagleson, the executive director of the Players Association. Also involved tomorrow, Randy Bowler of the Rangers, Gerald Diddick of the Islanders, Kevin Dineen of the Hartford Whalers, Brian Trache is the president of the Players Association, and Dean Kennedy of the Buffalo Sabres. They'll narrow the list of candidates from 15 to 5, and then interview the final 5, and we expect them certainly to call on Dave Maloney for an interview. You're interested in that, John?
It hasn't reached that state yet. God forbid that hockey ever gets to that point, Jake. But I will be calling on your expertise should that happen.
Yeah, please do. I'd be only too happy. I mean, I've tried to steer Eagleson in the right direction a few times and without success. But it's an interesting situation with the National Hockey League and their players. They've never had a strike in the history of the game. They're looking at a new collective bargaining agreement at the end of next season.
91, sure. I think it's a difficult proposition for someone to fill Eagleson's boots. Eagleson being the president of the association. He has taken from hockey in a lot of areas from its stages of infancy to the point where it's at now is a pretty decent TV revenue, good international hockey exposure and revenue. And now they've got to find another body to put all those hats and put them together. The league as an entity has a lot of different situations that are not like other major pro sports in America.
Isn't that the truth?
You know, you have 6 Canadian teams. You have a European presence in the players. You have Canadian currency versus American currency. There are a lot of different things that when you say, well, why can't they establish it like the NBA or major? There are a lot of different things that are involved.
Here are the Rangers on a power play that is about to expire without anything going in the net again. So they're still down 2-0 on home ice and only 9 minutes to play in the third period against the Montreal Canadiens. Rodnick lost it at the Montreal blue line. Orshula had it momentarily, got checked. Jardin clears it from the Montreal zone, giving it to Andrew Castle, former number 1 draft pick of the Canadiens. Let him stay in Ottawa, finish his junior career. He had only a so-so training camp, apparently. Found his speed, found his play at Sherbrooke, the American Hockey League. There's Richer centering the puck. It comes back to Desjardins for a drive. Blocked in front. Rose right up on top of the goal crease to make the save, and he holds on to it. It's still 2-0, Montreal. Earlier tonight, Buffalo came back to defeat Philadelphia, so even a win tonight leaves the Canadiens in second place in the Adams division.
Well, the Devils were up 2-1 at last notice against Boston. So, instead of the top of the show, when it comes to the Patrick division, I think a real good winning streak by one of the clubs could probably lock up the division because it looks like a losing streak doesn't take you out of it.
Just been informed that the Devils have beaten the Boston Bruins by a score of 3-1. The Devils
tighten the race up a little bit.
And that gives them 33 points. They're 3 ahead of Washington and only 2 behind the Rangers. Betting on the outcome here, Horseva. They slip it through one man, but no further, and the Canadiens come up again, 2-on-1, as Keane gave it to Gilchrist, and the shot up high on Prose. The rebound loose in front of the net. Keane goes to the corner for it now. Rubbed on the boards by Bloomberg. Rangers starting out, Ogrodnik feeds it into the center ice area to Thomas Sandstrom. 2, now 3 Canadiens back. Here's Ogrodnik shooting it well wide of the net. And another fight breaks out.
Sandstrom and Chelios, sir.
Thomas Sandstrom, will he fight? Or will he just grapple like this? He doesn't get involved in too many of these, does he? Oh, and he shows some strength wrestling Chelios to the net.
Well, he gets a rousing response from the crowd for the three-point takedown on Chris Chelios. Chelios was the more active of the punchers. Sandstrom's now, I don't know whether he's looking and showing the finger to the officials. I don't know what happened.
They're both finished for the night, no doubt. Chelios and Sandstrom at 15:49 of the third period. Canadiens up 2-0. Minutes and penalties going to Chelios. Couple for cross-checking. Sandstrom also gets 7 minutes. And Roger Nielsen, knowing that there's got to be a better day ahead. The Rangers on the verge of losing 4 in a row. They lost last night. First time all season that they've lost 3 consecutive games. 7 of their last 9 wins against teams that are in last place in their respective divisions. So while the Rangers were atop the league, or the division, I should say, things hadn't been going all that well. Here's the way the fight started with Sandstrom and Chelios.
They went out a screen. Chelios laid a cross-check into Sandstrom, and I'm sure it continued from there, because from our vantage point during the play, it's kind of a blind spot in the ice, but as it went out of frame, you could see Chelios lay his stick into Sandstrom, and they probably became entangled from there and ended up in the little scuffle that happened, and both players are gone for the rest of the evening, as are most of the fans here at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, there has been an exodus, all right. Canadiens dumping the puck wide of the Ranger goal, and it'll be called back for icing as Patrick touched up. Just a tick under 4 minutes to play in the third period. Still only a 2-0 deficit, though, for the New York Rangers. If they could ever get something going, you pointed out earlier, if they could get a deflection, anything that found its way into the net. Huh?
Give them some hope. I mean, that's really, as the game developed, was the only way it looked like they were going to get a chance. Because Montreal, it's the good news, bad news is the good news is you're only down 2, but the bad news is you're playing Montreal, and that's a battle. You might as well be down 10.
Yeah, just as well. Now Roger Nielsen with his list. He's checked it twice. Roger makes a lot of notes during the course of the game, although probably not as many as Bob Johnson did when he was coaching the Calgary Flames. This is Fortnall over the blue line for Montreal. Lost it to James Patrick. Worked it into center ice, and Ludwig back in the play. Gave it to Desjardins, who dumps it in. Canadiens hanging well back, keeping their defense well back in the center ice area. Now Granato shoots a long one well wide of the net. It rebounds to Millette for the drive that's over top of the goal. And after it is Bloomberg. Couldn't center it cleanly, and Lume just clears the zone for the Canadiens. Well, the Rangers go back. Throws out to slow it down for Lindy Ruff. Cross-ice pass to Bloomberg, right back to Ruff. Ruff steps over center into the Montreal zone. Unloads one off left wing. Pad save by Hayward. And the Canadiens clear it out of there. Schneider used the boards neatly to get it back inside the Ranger zone. Almost everybody that shows up in a red, white, and blue uniform plays that same style, that same system.
Well, and at this particular point in the ball game, they're just content to whack the puck around and whack it out. Nothing fancy. They've been in this position before, and they'll be in it again just by the nature of their style.
They did not use Stefan Lebeau in tonight's game. Here's Kissio with a pass through Ogrodnik skates. He turns and backhands it wide of the net. Kissio chases it to the right wing board. Tried to set it up for Mullen. He got checked. And Richer tips it out through center ice. Coming back is Brian Leach. Bumped by Richer. Orshula turns, starts out with it. Right on him was Guy Carbonneau. Orshula spun away from the check, comes over the line with a drive. Stick save by Hayward. Loose puck, recovered by Brent Gilchrist. Gilchrist leads the Canadiens into the Rangers zone. Gets tied up now and knocked down by Turcotte. Aaron Turcotte playing at both ends of the ice. Plays it around the boards, and there's Desjardins for Montreal. The Keene has dumped it in with less than 2 minutes to go in the third period. Orshula from back of the goal line. Out the left side. Troy Millette with it. Nobody moving up as he dumped it in. So Ludwig feeds Desjardins, and he works it out into the center ice area. That's Gilchrist. Gilchrist, Smith, and Keene for the Canadiens. Over the Ranger blue line. The play broken up momentarily. Gilchrist poked at it. Patrick failed to clear it out. Lindy Ruff reaches up, bumps it into the center ice area, and did it with a high stick, as it turned out, and gets a play stopper. 28 shots for the Canadiens, and 20 for the Rangers.
We took a look at Troy Millette. It's interesting as you think about the two systems. Take a look at a broken stick on Ryan Haywood's. Well, that looked broken on the bottom, didn't it, Jake?
It was, yeah.
The goaltender's the only one that's allowed to play with a broken stick on the ice. I'm probably aware of that. I don't know why he hasn't changed it. But it's interesting when you talk the two systems. It looks like Orshula's shot is the one that is going to break. Yes, it is. The one that broke his stick. But when you look at Troy Millette, how often have you seen Montreal bring a young guy right up and put him in the lineup?
Not very often.
Not very often. They either go to Sherbrooke until they're ready, or they play junior and then go to Sherbrooke till they're ready. And that's a sign of a real good system.
There was that kid, Lafleur, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Stepped in, had a 60-goal season. The only other Montreal player to score 60 in a year, of course, the year before was Steve Shutt. But Lafleur...
But he took a while. I mean, he didn't play every game.
That's true.
I remember Scotty, there was a question as to whether he was going to be the player that he built up, and it was a while before Lafleur come around. But boy, did he come around. My goodness.
Man. 40 seconds remaining as Brian Hayward makes the bid for his first shutout of the season. It would be his 6th career shutout. 5 with the Canadiens and 1 at Winnipeg. Turcotte trying to deprive him of that. The Rangers have pulled Froze from the net. They get the extra man out here, and Lindy Ruff shoots one in around the boards. We have 18 seconds remaining in the third period. And back of the goal, Lume shovels it up the boards. Brian Leach held it in, but shot one wide of the net. Ryan Walter trying to clear it. James Patrick went in after it, and his shot was blocked. Comes back to Leach. Lets one go, and that missed the target. 3 seconds left. 2 as Patrick's shot sails wide, and Hayward has the 0. A shutout for Brian Hayward. Turns aside 21 shots tonight. His